welcome into the Wheelhouse here, Elevation 5280 Sports and Lifestyle. Look who's back in the captain's chair. Matt Mascarenas makes his triumphant return as we are here with you on this Sunday morning. Matt, how the heck are you?
I'm doing pretty good. Glad to be back in the co-captain's chair. The co-captain's chair. I'm not the captain. I'm the co-captain, or I might even be the guy that goes and gets the drinks. What do they call them now? I know they're not steward or steward. Flight attendant. I'm the flight attendant. I'll get you some coffee or.
He's what this guy should be doing over here.
But yeah. That's me. It's good to be back.
He missed you because he had to go do that stuff.
Yeah, he had to do all the grunt work instead of just sit back there with his feet up and, eat bonbons and donuts and stuff.
Yeah, this is what I found on the ground. Banana muffin mini bites. They are good.
Banana muffin mini bites. You can't even get chocolate chip. You got to go banana muffin. That guy. Yeah, you pay him way too much. Way too much.
Have you tried a banana one? They're pretty tasty.
They are pretty good. I like the banana nut ones. They are pretty fire. They are good.
A lot to get into today. We'll get Matt's opinion on the Four Nations face-off that just ended a couple of days ago. And it is the start of baseball season officially, Matt. It's going to feel like spring this next week after a very cold week here where we are, Matt, in Denver. It was very cold, but we're about to see 60s all week, so might see these pale legs out and about. Hasn't seen
I'll be on
sun.
The golf course.
Yeah, see, already hitting the links, as they say. So a lot to get into. Don't forget to like, subscribe to all of our socials and our YouTube channel, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, and make sure you head on over to our home base, e5280sports.com, for all the goodness as well. And what we like to do when we go over the top sports news from the last week or so, we put it in a segment we like to call Fire and Ice.
It's now time for Fire.
Give me fuel, give me fire, give me that which I desire.
He's on fire.
I'm the only one a burning desire. Let me stand next to your fire.
And Ice.
Ice Cube, baby.
You're as cold as ice. Ice, baby.
So this is Fire and Ice. If you're new to the program, well, again, the top three kind of who's hot, who's not in the world of sports over the last week. And if you see me fidgeting with my microphone, it is a new microphone on an old stand. So it weighs more than this table that I'm sitting at does. So that's why it keeps I have to keep readjusting it. So if you're wondering why that is the reason for that. Matt, where do you want to kick things off this morning?
Let's go ice, baby. Let's go there. Let's in honor of the last of the cold weather here in Colorado. Hopefully, let's go with ice to get rid of all that ice. Let's do it.
Well, not much for the ice. Couldn't think of a lot here, but we'll kick it off on the basketball court. Matt, don't know if you saw this crazy story. It happened a couple days ago. Bobby Portis of the Milwaukee Bucks got suspended 25 games for illegal substance. Turns out his assistant gave him the wrong prescription. He's dealing with the elbow injury, I forgot. I don't know how to pronounce it. Tridane or Trust something.
Yeah.
Maybe a dose of Trump he got, and he failed. He failed I'm assuming a random drug test, and he got suspended 25 games. And his assistant mistakenly gave him the wrong drug, and now he takes obviously full responsibility for it, even though he could have said, hey, it wasn't me, my trainer or my assistant gave me the wrong pills. But what would you do if you're this guy, instead of these banana nut muffins, what if he gave me like special banana nut muffins?
Yeah.
I would not take the high road like Bobby Portis did. I would be like, he's suspended for 25 shows.
Yep.
Unpaid.
Yep. Suspend him, can him, whatever you need to do. It's crazy because, Bobby, like you said, Bobby Portis is taking the high road and whatnot. I'm wondering if at some point is that person going to be fired, relieved of their position? Because if your job is to make sure that a top-notch athlete is a professional athlete, that's just professional athlete whose job is to be prepared to play his sport, and you screw up his medication, his supplements, whatever what your job is. Now, if this is an assistant that is doing other things amongst, making sure he gets his vitamins, making sure he gets his medication, whatever he needs, if he's doing other things, and you either need to take control of that because you need to pay attention to what goes in your body, or you need to get one person that is in charge of that alone. So I'm glad Bobby Portis took, the brunt of the blame here. But at the same time, what kind of, like, that's what I'm curious about. If that assistant, if he's just supposed, or he or she is supposed to just do that, and you screw up, then you're not doing your job and you should be fired. But if it was like a multitude of things this person has to do, then I can see, screwing it up and then taking the fall, taking the blame. But it's a crazy story, and it screws up a lot. It doesn't just screw up Bobby Portis, but what are the Milwaukee Bucks like? Where are they at now? Where does this put them with 25 games that this guy's going to be out a big, that they're really lack of size anyway? Like, what does this do to their season? So this affects a lot of people and a lot of things, and not just Bobby Portis. It sucks. It sucks to see this. And I don't know if you saw this, Mike, but there's a number of players that were suspended or even banned from the league from substance that were, I was wondering where that dude went. So that was very curious to see when this story popped up.
Yeah, if you're watching a Milwaukee Bucks game and you don't see those, those eyes emoji, like you kind of did on Twitter this morning, the big eyes. If you're not seeing Bobby Portis's big eyes on the court, then you know something's wrong if he's not out there, because he just stares at you. He has those who was the linebacker with the big eyes who you don't want to see that across the line from you when you're facing your opponent. So we don't want to see those eyes. But yeah, kind of crazy that
crazy situation.
Yeah. All right, Matt, next on the ice list. Well, this came out. Well, it came out, towards the beginning of the season, and then this little tidbit of it came out yesterday, and that's, Greg Popovich started the season on the bench for the San Antonio Spurs, had a stroke, and he's been out since then. And this came out yesterday that he's not returning to the sidelines this season. And I guess maybe a 3-part question. What do you think Pop's legacy will be if this is it? Where do you rank him in all-time basketball coaches? And I guess my 3rd-part question for you, Matt, is what state does this leave the San Antonio Spurs in? Because I couldn't name you, all reaction, zero research here. I couldn't name you the guy who's been interning as the Spurs assistant coach.
I'm looking it up right now because I
think his name is Chris Paul, but I could be wrong on that. But
you could be right on that if his name is Ainge. I'm not even pasta pet. Sorry, Ainge. We'll just call him AP, Coach AP. Right. How about that?
Ainge Pasta Eater. Got it.
Something like that. But the legacy of Pop, I mean, you can make the argument that the dude should be on the Mount Rushmore of coaches. The Spurs dynasties that he coached, every Spurs team, even in the recent years before he got Wemby, you were going to play. You knew what you were going to play, what type of team you were going to play, whether they had superstars or not on the team. But you look back at the legacy of when you had those Spurs teams in the 2000s that were the only team in the Western Conference that kind of I can't say that they built the model of homegrown talent, but David Robinson, because and what I mean by that is like they didn't go out and sign people. Tony Parker was drafted, Manu Ginobili was drafted, and I was just going to say, you had David Robinson, then you get a fortunate situation to where you get Tim Duncan. So the model is right there of what a lot of teams want to do, of let home, like I was trying to say, that homegrown talent, or that homegrown way you do things, the culture, Spurs culture. Tim Duncan was a quiet but deadly leader. He talked with his play, he talked on the scoreboard. David Robinson, the Admiral, before he got there, he had a chance to learn from him. And then Tony Parker, Manu Ginobili, Bowen was in there, Bruce Bowen. You had Robert Big Shot Bob was a part of those teams. I'm missing guys but it was a dynasty. It was one of the best dynasties that we've seen in the NBA, and he was a big part of that. So I definitely do think that you can make a case to put him on the Mount Rushmore. I don't think he needs to come back. You could tell that he hated. I felt like towards the end here, before he got Wemby, he hated basketball. He was always being, he was starting to just start like bitching about everything. He's usually a curmudgeon with the media, which the media hate that. And they couldn't stand to talk to him. But if he was like Bill Belichick, in the sense that if you did talk to him outside of that, he was a great guy, great coach, or we knew he's a great coach on the floor, but outside of that, we saw that good coach, that mentor kind of situation. But yeah, I think you can make a case for him to be on that Mount Rushmore. And I would. I love Greg Popovich. I love the way he coaches. I love the legacy that he led, and then what he's left. He doesn't have to come back. I don't want to see him back. I just want to see him enjoy his life and get healthy and stay healthy. They got a good situation there. And I don't think, because they have De'Aaron Fox, Chris Paul, and I know Wemby's out, but they still have they used to give Stephen Castle. That guy's probably the leading candidate for the Rookie of the Year. You have a lot of pieces there, so I don't think that they're going to go into a tank situation for Cooper Flag, which is a lot of people. And I even thought the same thing when I saw Wemby go down. I'm like, damn, if this team gets Cooper Flag too, my goodness. But I don't think that's going to happen. I don't even know if Cooper's going to come out, but that's a different topic. But the legacy of Greg Popovich is definitely, arguably, you can put him in the Mount Rushmore of coaching, with the Phil Jacksons, the Reds, the Kenny Atkinson. Like, you could just keep going. And I know I'm missing guys. Jerry Sloan, even though he doesn't have the championships to go with it. Pat Riley. What was the guy's the guy from Golden State? Who?
Is Steve Kerr in that conversation?
Hell no, man. Hell no. I hate Steve Kerr. No, I don't put him up there. I don't. Me personally, I don't. And it could be because I'm biased and I just can't stand his whiny the way he's been going about things these past couple years. Did you watch that Olympics, the Court of Gold at all? I
have not yet, no.
On Netflix. It makes Steve Kerr, it's like Steve Kerr's not, he's not Mike Krzyzewski. He's not him. And he tries so hard to be him in this. I just can't stand Steve Kerr. I don't put Steve Kerr up there because it was Mark Jackson's like groundwork that he laid. And then Steve Kerr just kind of was like, okay, here's the keys to this souped up car that I just built for you. Here's the keys. Try not to crash it. And then you get Kevin Durant, Steph Curry. And I don't put him. I don't think that was the Golden State legacy is him. It's more Steph Curry and what Draymond and those guys did than what Steve Kerr did. So I don't put him there. But the Popovich, I would put Jerry Sloan above Steve Kerr. If you're asking me where coaches rank, I would put Jerry Sloan above Steve Kerr because of what he built there in Utah. I know the championships don't match up, but he had he had some teams there. But yeah, I think Popovich in this situations, he goes down as one of the greatest coaches ever. And again, you could put him on that. You can make an argument. You can have different Mount Rushmores, and a lot of them would have Popovich on there.
Yeah. So I think his legacy is secure anyway. Like you mentioned, 5-time NBA championships, 5-time NBA champion. Excuse me. By the way, 3 times he was coach of the year. He was head coach of the All-Star game 4 different times as well, which means you won the championship. So that's kind of how he spent some time in Colorado actually too, Matt. Did you know that? He went to Air Force for college.
Right. Yep.
And was an assistant there. Was an assistant there literally 3 years after he left the school. And yeah, like you mentioned, a lot of people thinking that they're going to tank now because Wemby was out. By the way, Wemby playing in the All-Star game with blood clots in his shoulder, and your boy bitches out because of a sore ankle. So
the King, yeah. Don't disrespect the King. We don't want the Save Bronze in here with their shields and swords to the King. We don't want them. We don't want them in here with us because they just bring me to and after last night, Mike, they got so much ammunition, and it's going to be a rough couple weeks, man.
They're 2-13 in their last 15 games.
I know, but these, how these guys are. It's going to be rough. It's going to be rough this week with.
By the way, Altitude. Shout out to Altitude for and Comcast for finally resolving that. But if it's a national TV game, can you just keep the games on Altitude? That's all I'm going to say.
I would like to give us an option.
I don't like watching games on TV muted.
Me neither.
I put it there.
We talk about this a lot, Mike. But it's not even Nuggets games. It's literally almost every game that I try to watch or consume, and the commentary is just terrible outside of college basketball. And I don't know if they need to get these JV guys in there, these like what you consider these AB or these BCD teams in there to call one of these games, maybe. I don't know, but I'm with you, man. I just can't.
Who's the guy who did? I think he's the play-by-play guy for the Brooklyn Nets. I can't remember his name. He does a lot of WNBA. Oh, I forgot.
Yeah, I don't know either. They got to switch things up. They got to do something.
I like him.
Yeah, I do too. And there's I like some of these when they have Andrea Carter sometimes will come on and call a game. I'd rather listen to her. I'd rather listen to like Monica McNutt. I like Boris.
Yeah, like
Boris,
I told you yesterday, Stephanie White is pretty good.
Stephanie White, yeah, exactly. Like we were talking. Yes, I'm down with that too. Like let's get. And I know Richard Jefferson last night was at least attempting, but it just man, it's just. I think they need to do something about that. I agree. There's just.
By the way, isn't Mike Breen the Knicks play-by-play guy on The Usual?
I don't know. I know. I isn't because I know who's the other guy. Brown, is it Brown? No. There's a couple. It's weird how they do that because there are some guys that call home games for certain teams and that's their guy, but then they're national. It's interesting how they do that.
Who calls the games when that guy goes and does a national game? Do they just not schedule those games on the same day?
Yeah, it's weird. It's weird. I don't know because I was watching something last night where they were talking about the Knicks team and they had some. I don't know. It's interesting though. It's weird.
Remember the good old days on Sunday Night Baseball, Matt, John Miller and Joe Morgan.
Yeah.
Absolutely perfection. Perfection.
Iconic.
Didn't lean one way or the other. Was excited when big plays happened on both sides. And John Miller was the everyday play-by-play guy for the San Francisco Giants, but he was the Sunday night national TV guy. And I mean, just perfect voice for baseball. Just everything was good about that. Those broadcasts back in the day.
Yeah, so, I agree. Yep.
Yeah, can
we got to do something. They got to, because I'm with you. Like, and I'm getting pretty good at timing the play, like Coz's call with the TV, and Coz can get over it. There's sometimes I got to turn him off too.
Yeah. So he's getting a little cynical in his old age.
Yeah. And I don't blame him because he does it a lot. He sees a lot of stuff. So I get it, but It is, but sometimes I just have to shut the game off, period, which I did
Yeah.
a handful of times last night. So that's, like we've talked about the sport. When I watch certain sports teams games, especially the Nuggets, I spend a lot of times turning it off and just like breathing, and then I'll go back into it. Cause you gotta just kind of, games like that will do that to you.
Yeah. You don't want to sit next to me when the Nuggets are on during playoff time.
My wife, she understands how bad I get, but she's even starting to get, last night she goes, let's shut this bleep off. I'm sick of it already. I'm like, I agree with you, honey. Let's shut it off. I'm done. I agree with you.
All right, let's move on to the fire list here. Starting, how about this, Matt? Changing of the guard, changing of tradition, if you will. You can now walk into the Yankees locker room, Matt, looking like, well, I guess we both do right now.
Yeah,
little
Grizzly Adams.
Yeah, Grizzly Adams did have a beard.
Grizzly Adams did have a beard.
Yeah, they changed their policy. Hank Steinbrenner came out and said, listen, my dad installed this rule in like 1842, and now it was actually like 1974. But how many more
1974 what it was?
Yeah, when George Steinbrenner emplaced this rule where you cannot have facial hair if you're a member of the New York Yankees. And everyone's like, this guy over here. And then is it his son or his is it his son, right? Hank Steinbrenner, or is that his grandson?
I got lost on the tree, but I think it's his son.
Well, Hank Steinbrenner, whoever he is, came out the other day and said, hey, scrap that. Full grown beards all around. So now the New York Yankees can all have facial hair. You could have neatly groomed mustaches. You could have that, but you couldn't look like Johnny Damon did with the Red Sox. And then Johnny Damon went to the New York Yankees and nobody knew who he was. So
nobody knew who's this guy.
Yeah. Now it's the guard has changed.
Well, who was their newly signee? Who's the person that they just signed?
Well, they got Cody Bellinger from the Cubs. They got Paul Goldschmidt. They got, who else did they buy?
There was somebody they just bought that had a big beard, and immediately the question was, "What you gonna do with the beard? Is he gonna shave the beard?" And then, boom, we have this.
Yeah, well, they got what's his name from the Dodgers who had a beard.
Turner? No. Was it? No, Turner went. Where did he go? He signed a whatever deal with somebody.
He just signed with the Cubs, but
the Cubs, yeah.
What was his name? Verducci, maybe. I'm thinking of Tom Verducci, the baseball insider guy. I can't remember his name, but he had a big old beard with the Dodgers, and then he was like the baby face when he went up to bat for the Yankees.
Yeah, that's why I keep some type of facial hair, because I would look like I'm 20, and I just don't want to deal with that all day long. But yeah, it's crazy, and it makes me hate the Yankees even more when you really think about how long that they've had to think about this. There's so many other things that you can grasp onto. Like the one thing I was thinking of too the other day is there's some things that I want to see reinstituted in professional sports is why don't you dress up like you're going to work instead of dress up like a fashion show or a freaking clown? Because I couldn't stand, and I know it was funny in sports entertainment or whatever you want to call it, but the receiver with Buffalo that dressed like Fred Flintstone, and he was doing all that. I can't remember his name, but that was irritating. But the fits that they show these, like I was trying to think of things, because it got me thinking that this beard thing, when it came down, I was like, what other things should we take away or reinstitute into professional sports that could make it look better? And I just because of how dumb this whole beard and facial hair thing is, it's like, do they work? Is it UPS? Because I know UPS has a strong facial. Is it? I mean, OSHA in the way I understand it is being disbanded. I mean, you might know a little bit about this, Mike. Like OSHA is being disbanded, I think. So now is it going to trickle down into baseball? Trickle down to professional sports? Hey, we can have a beard now. We can have a mustache. Because I remember I got some UPS buddies, and you can tell when they were on vacation because they would have facial hair, and now it's silly. It's silly. but it's kind of well, I'll just go with that. It's silly that this went on this long, and it's silly that this was a thing, but that now these guys can walk up to bat or go into that dressing room and be like, hey, I don't have to shave today, or I don't have to worry about coming into work and Steinbrenner busting my chops because I got a little stubble. So it's overall silly, but it's funny, and I mean it's entertaining, That's like what are we doing here? But what would you like to see come back? Would you like to see, like, instead of these guys, in the NBA it's different because it's part of the culture to have some kind of a fit, but like the NFL or the baseball, hey, when you step off the bus and you're walking in as a team, should you all look like a team? Should we all have team suits, team polos, team quarter zips? I don't know, hoodies. Should we all look like a team? Should we reinstitute that? I know they have dress codes. Like the NFL has some crap that you can't have socks, a certain type of sock on, short socks, long socks. They'll fine you for it. And it could even have the same thing in the NBA. But is that what would you like to see? Would you like to see something reinstated or taken away that we have in professional sports?
I don't know. I don't know or even know where I sit on this Yankees thing, to where, you can't, for some reason, like chains sort of bother me. Like you said, some facial hair in the NBA. If those dudes were able to wear chains, Matt, they would probably all fall to the floor because it weighed so much. Or
you'd have to be cleaning up the broken chains on the ground because they're playing defense. I'm surprised football players you don't find gold all over the field.
That's what I mean.
Or platinum.
I'm kind of surprised that they allow jewelry in some sports. I mean, look at baseball. These guys go up, they got like 8 chains on. And I don't know. I don't know if anything I would change anything besides maybe that. Yeah. And I thought of the dude's name, by the way, who played for the Yankees or for the Dodgers, and then he went to the Yankees. So I'm going to show you these pictures because you can't really even. So here he is with the LA Dodgers, Matt, right there. See him? Speaking of chains, there it is. And this is him with the New York Yankees. Totally different person. Totally. And look, he added more chains because he had to get rid of
Look at the bling. Yep.
Yeah. That's Alex Verdugo, by the way. So I was kind of close.
You were close. With a V, Verdugo, but, same thing.
Yeah, so it doesn't even look like the same person. So
no.
But
I agree with you with the chains. It looks tacky.
Hey, it looks, hated that rule too. Look, he had to take off a couple chains.
Yeah. I agree with you. That's one thing I'd like to see is no chains. Like, I don't know why you want to walk around with 3 houses around your neck while you're trying to steal third base, or you're trying to turn a double into a triple, or you know what I mean? Like I got 4 houses on my neck and 2 in my ears, and I'm out here making a wide turn at second and then trying to take an extra base. Yeah, that's ridiculous. Like, what do we? I mean, I guess, Mike, on the other hand, is look how much swagger I have because I'm doing this with all this on, and you still can't tag me out. I guess there's that perspective, but I agree. I don't like the chains. Now that I see all those freaking chains, and I'm thinking these guys when they're at bat, and they got all the pads on anyway, and they're going around doing this. And if they're mic'd up, you can hear the click clack of the chain. Yeah, I got it. I get you now. I vibe with that. Get rid of chains. That's our new slogan. No more chains.
2 chains. And
two chains, no chains.
Long story short, Yankees can now have facial hair. Next on the fire list, Matt, we haven't had a chance to talk about this, but if you missed it, I don't know where you stand on it, but it was absolutely outstanding competition. We know the other side of the coin. It was the NBA All-Star break at the same time. Yeah. Absolute trash, absolute garbage. And you turn that court over to some ice, Matt. Put your country's name on your chest, and it's a whole different competition. I mean, the 4 nations face-off was absolutely outstanding. The championship game between U.S. and Canada the other night was awesome. And then, of course, it went into overtime. But since we haven't had a chance to really talk about it, what was your take on it? I mean, I don't want to assume, but I mean, kind of the obvious answer is they should do this every freaking year. Next year is going to be different because it's the Olympics, but
yeah,
I mean, it was I mean, you literally you put somebody's country on your chess mat and you're dropping the gloves 3 seconds into a game. Like that's how intense these games were.
That set the tone for the whole game. I know there was games before that, but that's kind of set the tone for how this was going to be done. And you have to you want to say, let's keep politics out of it, but politics were thrown into this, and it was a big part of it. And even going into the Thursday night game, which I didn't get to see the Thursday game, but it was thrown into that. There was like you can't be like, oh, I don't want to get involved, because it got involved. They got involved with it. Charles Barkley was making jokes about it. So there was that extra little umph that was, the 51st state, all that stuff that's going on there, that was involved in it. You can't say it wasn't. So that added to it. And what I liked about it is I felt like I was watching hockey before they got rid of the double line pass, the 2-line pass. I felt like I was watching old school hockey. I felt like I was watching that muck it up, that keep it in your zone, that not wide open. Like I felt like I was watching old school hockey that I love to watch. So that was cool. I love to see that. And what it also did is it created, I don't know if you caught, I'm sure you did. You saw PK on ESPN creating this new topic. Now it needed to be said. And I think he makes a lot of great points, but at the same time, there are some things in the NBA that's different, but it got you to think about what these guys are playing for, as opposed to what these guys are playing for, what these athletes are playing for, as opposed to what their mindset and goals are. So it started that conversation. And like you mentioned, the All-Star game, the NBA All-Star game was absolute trash. The whole weekend, in my opinion, was trash. And then you have what the NHL did. It was night and day. The NHL won. The NHL just put a better product out there, had more at stake than whatever the NBA is trying to do. So I loved the whole thing because of that, because it created this narrative, or not narrative, but it created this talking point. It created this, okay, the NBA is going to try to do better. They're going to try to make it better because of what the NHL did. So not only was it great for hockey and forget to fans like me back into the game and back into watching hockey again, because I was like, man, this is pretty. This is like what I used to love to watch. I tried to watch what I could, and then it created this talking point, this element of what we already kind of felt was there. But now we're going to see if it changes, and now we're going to see if the NBA does anything different. You can't match what they do, what the NHL does, but you can create some kind of thing, and hopefully we see some kind of, the America versus the world kind of situation that going into next year. But I doubt it, because I don't think these NBA players will go for that, but I would like to see that.
Yeah, I didn't mean to play that. There used to be a time where you had YouTube on mute the whole time.
Yeah, I got it on. Yeah, I just noticed mine was kind of being goofy too, but
yeah, it's So first of all, the NFL and the NBA need to hire the dude in the meeting that said, "Hey, let's switch this up. Let's not cram it into one boring weekend with a celebrity game, skills competition, and then the All-Star game. Let's spread it out a week and a half. This is a week and a half of games, man. So that was kind of already unprecedented for an All-Star break. And it was, I don't know if they do this again, Matt. I don't know if they're going to add more teams. 4 teams seemed like not enough. Maybe
I agree.
Maybe if they got up to 6 teams, I know
6 would be good. Yeah.
I know like Russia was in the conversation, but Russia's kind of in a weird spot.
There's some big, yeah.
But I mean, there's a lot of NHL guys that come from Russia. So, but the top 4, obviously US, Canada, Finland, and Sweden. Obviously, I think I heard like 60% of the NHL population come from those 4 countries alone. So, But yeah, whoever was in the marketing meeting in the NHL, he needs to get paid by the two other sports in which the All-Star game is absolute trash. And I'm talking about obviously the NBA and the flag football piece of crap that is just absolute. There's no point for it at this point. So it is absolute dog water. It's trash. It's not Riz. You're capping if you think it is. And whatever the terms are nowadays.
It's the ops.
Yeah. I mean, it's totally sus. But anyway, they need to hire that guy because, I mean, to not only just say, hey, we're not doing the norm. Like, I would have loved to be a fly on that wall in that meeting, Matt, that said, you know, you're sitting across from Gary Bettman and you're like, hey, we're not doing an All-Star game this year. Look. I don't know where I think we both agreed every time the All-Star game rolls around that baseball has the best one.
Yeah.
Well, NHL just topped
that.
Yeah. NHL just topped that. And it wasn't even an all. Like I don't
call that an all. Yeah.
Well, you know what I mean. Like I don't know.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
I don't all-star. Like I don't know if the guys on these countries were going to be all-stars. Like I don't know how the teams were selected. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Because you look at that's a problem with the NBA too. Is they have that element of selection. You know, and I get it. That's part of the All-Star is to select certain players for this blah 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 and the fan favorites, and it's for the fans, right? But we don't want like the fans. I think the fans are over that, and they want more competitiveness.
They want what they just saw in the NHL.
Yeah, and it was competitive. They were playing for the country.
I mean, yeah, it was.
You had. I'm sure you saw this too. I was reading something this morning. There was people in Nashville were booing Makar and McKinnon when their names were announced in an Avalanche game. They were getting booed, and that's like, yeah, you probably go say that, yeah, there's probably maybe some playoff history there, blah blah blah. But the way I understand it, they were booing them because they just came from the Canadian game when the U.S. lost, and you're in the United States, so like it creates that.
In the U.S. Canada game in Canada last week or whatever it was, the Canadians booed the U.S. national anthem.
Yeah.
And the championship game was in Boston. And you know, all those turds in Boston are going to be like, we can't wait for Canada to come on because we're going to boo the crap out of that. And it happened.
Yep.
You're not going to see that in an NBA All-Star weekend where I mean, most of the teams are from U.S. anyway, but you're not going to be booing another team, another player, or anything like that. It's, do you think that if they gave your boy a USA
he's not going to play in this game.
No, but I'm saying if you gave your boy LeBron a USA jersey, do you think he's sitting out with a sore ankle?
That, you know, Mike, I at this point I don't know. I think he would. Like you're looking at. I want to say no because coming off of watching this Court of Gold thing, I'm not even saying the right thing, but the Netflix thing, the USA they've taken it personal in the fact that everybody's saying that the world players are better than the Americans. They have taken that personal. There is a element from these, especially the LeBrons, the KDs, the Stephs. LeBron and Steph are saying that they're not going to play in the 2028 Olympics or those games. They're going to coach it. They're already talking about they want to coach that team, and the Americans are getting pumped up about it. But at the same time, like if you're putting it in they have to frame it right, and the world at the same time hates the Americans, and there is that aspect of it because so you can have that. Create that world versus America, but there has to be something when it comes to the All-Star that you can't frame it like it's an All-Star game. I think that's what I'm trying to say because what I've noticed with the NBA players when they get into that All-Star mentality, like we're here at the All-Star game, it's a vibe. We can't create that. It can't have that. It has to have something that's totally separate. Get rid of the in-season tournament BS. We're done with that. Let's make it's trash. Let's make a Worlds tournament. Let's have a little Serbia come over. Let's have a little Canada. Let's have a little, let's take the same model and let's have, it's not going to happen. It's not going to work because logistically it's, I don't know if it can, but can you imagine taking this American team and going and playing a game in Serbia? Have you seen the games in Serbia?
Oh, yeah.
It's never going to happen. Do you think these Americans, and I'm not saying we're weak or nothing like that. I'm not talking trash about that. But the NBA basketball players is what I'm saying. Going and playing in that environment, I don't know what that's going to do to them. I would love to see it though. I would love to see something like that, but I don't know if it's just hard to do an America versus the world in the sense outside of the All-Star game because you have the All-Star element. We saw it. I don't like the All-Star element. I guess that's what I'm trying to say.
Well, and look at Draymond Green was mad that somebody suggested that the who was it? The Rising Stars were in the All-Star game.
Yeah, they were. Yeah.
You think he's going to be okay with going over to Serbia or even Australia or something like
Australia? I know they were just in France, but that's a different. That French team hates. Again, I'm referring to the show, but they're watching them. The Americans come in, and that French team hates them. The world basketball hates the American team. They really do, and that's what's driving a lot of this competition up, and why the world is looked at to that's catching the Americans or even going past the Americans when it comes to basketball, and that's it's because it's either the hatred or the like, man, you're not better than us. You're not. And they're tired of looking at the LeBrons and the Stephs and the KDs, and they're like, we're not better than, and they're catching up, man. If they haven't already passed them, they're catching up. And I think these old heads, the LeBrons and the Stephs, it might be too late. They could have done something about this like 3 or 4 or 5, 6, 7 years ago, whatever you want to call it. But there's a culture created, and they're starting to realize, man, I think we got to do something here to get this back as far as basketball back from the world.
Yeah. So I saw an interview with Milan Hajduk, and he's obviously obviously from the Czech Republic, and he was kind of asked like, why didn't that part of the world have a team in this obviously it's the 4 nations, and if you add 6 teams, I don't know what you call it. You call it the 6 nation face off. I don't know, but I'm sure the guy who thought of this can come up with a creative name. But anyway, He said there just wasn't enough NHL players that would have been able to form a good team, because next year in the Olympics, Matt, because this was just for NHL players, like nobody from, the guys sitting at home that play in these Russian leagues, these other leagues, they weren't able to play in this 4-nation face-off. But you open up to the Olympic, and everybody everybody from that country is able to play in it. And that's maybe why some of these countries didn't have a team in this, and maybe that's why they couldn't form a team, because it was literally just made up of NHL guys, which still is kind of a cool little exclusive club.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know. Yeah, like you said, you mentioned the World All-Star, and it's like, all right, cool, I get a week off. Even if I'm selected as an All-Star, I show up, probably get like a bonus, $50K or whatever, and that's it. Like, I don't have to. I guarantee you, though, if you gave Jokic a Serbia jersey a couple weeks ago, he's going all out.
Yeah, I agree. And that's the mentality of these guys, these world guys, the guys that play overseas, the Wembys, the Lucas that's played professional basketball over there since they were in their teens. That gives them that sense of pride, that sense of country. And I'm not saying that we don't have it here, because it is there. It's just different. It's just a different mindset when you put the word all-star on it. And we're not talking about the Olympics, because we have that aspect there of country versus country, nation versus nation. But in this sense of the all-star game, there's got to be something that can get them pumped up. There's got to be something that can get them get it more competitive, or just get rid of it completely. Because like I really do feel, oh, we're going to the all-star game. All right, I'm going to bring my family, bring my kids. We're going to run around on the court. We're going to have fun. It's all-star weekend. Let's have a good time. Jamal Murray doesn't even care about being an all-star anymore, because it's the only time he gets to have off or a break. So like, that's kind of where we're getting to. And And I don't know what needs to change. I don't know if it's going to be world versus America or America versus the world. I don't know if that's going to help it, but there's got to be something different.
And that's almost what they kind of have to do because, like I said, there wasn't enough guys to form teams in this nation's face-off. There's probably not going to be enough guys from Serbia to form
a Serbia team.
Yeah, so that's why that world versus, all-star versus world was thrown out there because there's probably not enough guys to make up a team from Slovenia or Serbia or, you know what I mean? So
yeah, and the way that you go,
Canada
World
and Australia
All-Stars
could have a team though.
What's that?
I said Canada and Australia could form a team of NBA guys.
I think
maybe France.
And maybe France. Yeah, I mean maybe. And I think what you do is you go World All-Stars and then you go American All-Stars. So you pick all the All-Stars from the world that are in the NBA World All-Stars versus American World All-Stars. And then you go 5-game series in 2 weeks, whatever it is. Let's do a 5-game series. Let's give them chances. Let's give them, or even in that week of the All-Star game and like kind of do what the Four Nations did, 4 games. Let's have a series to where at the end, whoever wins is crowned the NBA All-Star champ. I don't know, whatever you want to do it, but I think that could be a start to look at. Create a series, get rid of the skills, get rid of the celebrity games, get rid of all that BS, and then just have it go to either, and I don't know how you could maybe play a game in Canada. I don't know how you would go any other place than that, but have it like that. Let's have a 5-game set, have a 5-game series, World All-Stars versus American All-Stars in that week. I mean, could you do that? I mean, in the best out of 5, all you got to do is win 3 basically. So that could be a start. I could see that. I could see them getting geared up for that maybe. But get rid of the All-Star crap. Get rid of that.
And you could probably form 4 teams like the NHL did. You could have a US, you could have probably an Australia, you could have probably a Canada. And then I guess the rest of the guys who don't have enough people from their country can be the world team. I mean, obviously, because I mean, look at Canada's Olympic team this last summer, Matt. The whole starting was 5 plus like 3 more guys on the bench were all NBA guys.
Yep. Canada can do it.
Same with France. Same with Australia. I mean, their starting 5 were all NBA guys. So I don't know. Baseball has actually been doing it right for the last couple of years, Matt, even probably more than that. I mean, they have a good all-star game. They have a good all-star weekend. And they have the World Baseball Classic, which teams are fighting for right now for the qualifiers. So, I mean, does baseball say, hey, instead of an all-star game, let's just make the World Baseball Classic our all-star
game?
I don't know. I mean, baseball's been doing it right. I don't know why it took so long but at least hockey switched gears and changed their point of view. By the way, why does hockey have the best trophies in all of sports? I mean, look at this. That's what you get. And they get a medal. They're wearing a medal.
It's the best celebration. They have the best celebration in all sports too. Like holding up a cup like that.
And the handshake is the best.
The handshake line. Yeah. I don't know if it's because you're on ice and you're on skates. Excuse me. But if I do agree with that. They have the best championship, the winning, the cup and all that stuff. It's better than the Super Bowl. Yeah, I agree.
You win the Hart Trophy, which is MVP of the season. I mean, that trophy is almost as big as the Stanley Cup. I mean, these dudes, like, it's a major hardware. And I don't know, they say everything's big in Texas. Whoever created these trophies and stuff like that. Are they from
Texas?
No, I'm just saying Canada does it even bigger.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure the guy who created all these cups and trophies and stuff like that are from Canada. And so, I mean, the Stanley Cup is by far the prettiest trophy in all of sports. So
yeah, I agree. Lord Stanley.
Yeah. So that these other sports got to figure this out because it's gone down the trash chute pretty quick. I was going to play what PK Subban said, and maybe we could still play here really quick. But like you said, he did have a point. He did have solid argument, and we'll just play that really quickly here. in case you guys missed it. And here we go.
Really about sports, then you're about two things: your teammates and the fans. And I'm sorry, it doesn't matter how much money you're making. When you do not show up to play, you're letting your teammates down. When you do not show up to play, you're letting the fans down that are paying you 40, 50, 60 million. I don't care if you're getting 300 million. Congratulations. But these people in here are paying $2,500 a ticket, $5,000, that are blue-collared, hardworking people. If you don't get your head wrapped around that, you shouldn't be in pro sports, because how are we going to grow? How do we expect you to be an example? Well, guess what? You don't want to be. You are one. You're on the biggest stage. You just said it. They make the most money. You're an example. You got to show up. You got to take that on. I'm sick and tired of making athletes greats, all-time greats, that aren't the best examples. Those are the people that we want our kids to follow, that we want athletes to follow. That helps us in our game. Stephen A., you want athletes to be educated on this and understand this. They got to understand the importance of showing up to the All-Star game and being on the court and playing banged up sometimes and playing injured maybe at times. Thank you. And participating, because here's the thing. Because you're making 100, 200, 300 million, you should be out there banged up. You should be. That's why we pay you, is to max out. We talk about greatness and it being the longevity of somebody's career. I don't care if you play 50 years. I want your best 10. I want you on the court dominating. I want you to go all out. I want Michael Jordan. I want Kobe. That's what I want in every sport.
So there you go. Pretty animated there towards the end, but he had a point.
Amen.
And I loved his passion about it. And I think, I don't know if it was Stephen A. or whoever, a day or so later or something like that, said, look, hockey guys are only making $7 million as opposed to a basketball player making $70 million. Of course, they're not going to go out there and threaten a sore ankle that could turn into something more. Of course not. But at the same time, why are you bitching out at the last second when you're taking up a guy's spot that could have been on that All-Star team? And a lot of people are giving I forgot who else, Giannis. Giannis said it a week before. And that's why Trae Young replaced him in the All-Star game. Like
Anthony Edwards bailed too.
Yeah, and yeah, some of these guys are just like, I'm not risking it, but I don't know. I like what PK Subban said there.
Oh, I'm with you. I love what he said, and I like that whole conversation there. And like LeBron's been getting called out a lot lately, and deservedly so. But at the same time, it's a, because people say, like, you can't blame LeBron. You can't. Well, he's been the kind of the centerpiece of all this. Like, he's been up there. He's been leading the charge for the NBA for the past, the 10 years, 12 years, like however long you want to look at it. He's been the guy that the whole NBA turns to. I think that's starting to go away a little bit, because these Wembies, these guys like SGA, the guys like that are coming up. I was going to say Luka, but they're on the same freaking team now, which that's another freak. What the hell's going on there with Dallas and the Lakers? But I think this younger generation is starting to like, I ain't messing with that guy anymore. You know, there's usually an expletive in front of messing with that guy, but I'm not dealing with that guy anymore. He's not speaking for me. He's not. I see that in these guys. They don't fear him. They don't look at him like that's a guy we gotta get right behind. I remember when we had COVID, the NBA players were saying, "What if Bron says we're gonna go play in the bubble? Then we're gonna go play. We follow LeBron." I don't think it's like that anymore. I think they're looking at these guys, and they're looking at guys like that and saying, man, buck up and get out there and play. You're like you said, you're taking a spot from a guy. And I don't think that he's deserved that much to where you can give him a time off, or you can say it's okay, he can do that because what he's done for this game. I think he's hurt the game more, especially the All-Star game, but the game in general more than he's made it better with these things, with these joining super teams. I need more help. Give me more help. Give me the next greatest player in the world. Oh, okay. Yeah. We'll trade you. Get like, what the hell are we, how can other players coming up look at that dude and be like, man, I want to be like that. How can we do that? Or how can we call that guy? How can we call that greatness? That's not greatness. So I think a lot of these younger guys are seeing that. And Stephen A's been calling him out for doing side eye to Larry Bird last year during the All-Star game. Like he called him out there. He called him out in not so many words. PK called him out there. So I think like players, these younger generation are starting to move away and look towards other guys, but these other guys got to step up and I think that it's there, but I think the time of looking at and seeing what LBJ's doing or what number 6, 24, whatever the hell number he wears now is gone. And I think we're moving in the right direction, but we can't say that he didn't have a lot to do with what we have now in the NBA.
Yeah. And you mentioned like kind of the changing of the guard. A lot of people are saying, well, who's going to be the new face of the league, of the NBA? And I can't remember who said it. I think it was maybe Charles Barkley on TNT. One of the guys was like, "You're not handed the face of the NBA.
Right?
You go out. If you're SGA,
Shaq, wasn't it Shaq? Shaq, maybe.
I think it was Charles. To be honest with you,
it was Charles. It might have been Charles. But it was on that show.
Yeah, he said, "Ernie, listen, Ernie, you don't go out and," he said, "you don't go out and get handed the face of the NBA. You go out and take it, like Kobe did, like Jordan did." I mean, I hate to say it, but even LeBron went out and took it, and he's kind of been the face, and that's kind of changing. But like you said, the younger generation's like, nah, I don't really want to be like the old heads, like the Durants and the stuff. But I think the one thing that's kind of holding the younger generation of basketball players, like even Jokic, he's not going to go out and take it. No. The younger generation, I don't know if they want to be handed the new face, but they're not going to go out and take it. So they're just waiting for somebody to be named. You know what I mean? Like Kobe went out and took it. Shaq went out and took it. You know, guys like that. Dwayne Wade went out and took it. Dirk went out and took it. And these younger generations, they don't want to be handed it, but at the same time, they're not going to go out and grab it either.
And I think that has to do with the media. And you want to point at ESPN and who just lost the baseball deal. I think that's what I read. They lost a baseball deal. They're not going to see or is it hockey? I can't remember which one they lost, but ESPN, I think this younger generation is looking at it like, well, if all these guys are going to talk about is LeBron, and then let's talk about some more LeBron. How the hell can I go out there and grab it and be the face when these guys aren't even going to talk about me anyway? The Kendrick Perkins, the Nick Wrights, the Colin Cowherds, the Dan Patricks, the Stephen A's, the guys like that. They're not gonna talk to you. They'll talk about you because LeBron's still here, because LeBron's 41 years old and he's still doing the things that he's doing. So they're not going to give you an opportunity, whether you're going to come out and take it, whether you want it or not. They're not going to give you an opportunity because this guy's still around and he's still doing these things. So there's a big problem, I think, in that situation, to where if you have more of these guys not always just glazing for LeBron, and it's the Lakers, and I know they'll come out and they'll tell you, well, that's what you want to hear about. That's what we get emails called. That's what we get calls for. That's what we get. So we're going to talk about it. You don't have to do that. There's a lot of good things going on out there that we can talk about. The Joker is one of the most interesting dudes in the world, and you're not going to send Brian Windhorst out here to sit down with Joker and talk with Joker about his horses and all that stuff. You're not going to do that. You're going to send him to go in Vegas and watch LeBron get ready for. It's just mind boggling that the media has a lot to do with who the face is. And I know Chuck said that. I don't put Chuck as a part of that, because Chuck even calls these dudes out. He even called them out. I think on the broadcast, was it Friday night? He said some stuff about, like, or Friday, Thursday, whichever night it was on, that he heard it on some other station, that they keep pushing this and pushing that. And can we stop talking about? And he's right. So I think the media has a lot to do with who's the face. They think that they can pick it, but these guys, like you said, they need to figure out a way how to come out and just take it and not let the media dictate who is the face of the league, because that's what they're trying to do. They're going to try to go out and tell you that it's still LeBron, it's still Steph, by the way that they report, by the way they cover everything.
And look at what teams made the biggest moves at the trade deadline. Lakers obviously shocked the world by bringing Luka, which is going to make LeBron more relevant. And Golden State went out and traded for
Jimmy Butler,
Jimmy Buckets, which is going to make Steph more relevant. So,
and the trade with Dallas,
you want to move
on the Lakers,
but yet those are the teams that are making moves to stay relevant.
And the trade, there was no, hey, Luka's available. What are you guys are going to get? Who's going to give me the best? It was just a trade to the late. It wasn't. That is what is fishy as hell to me. That you want to talk about the league being rigged. You want to get into the conspiracy theory. That's it, right? I want to know more about that, because
he was getting too fat.
If that's your reasoning, like that's wild to me. I couldn't believe that they're standing there. We want to have an example of what we want. And they named Kobe, they named Jordan. And this guy is 20. What is he? 24, 25. You just came off of a finals appearance off of his freaking back last season. He gets a little dinged up. What kind of you're basically, and you trade him to the freaking Lakers for nothing. I know you got back Anthony Davis, but are you he was hurt within like 2 games. He's hurt. He's out. Boom, gone. What the hell are we doing here? And I just, if the Dallas Mavericks, if they go into a tank, which I don't think they'll keep Kyrie if they do that. Kyrie's going to be gone next season, but because I think he has an opt out. But if they go into a tank and get Cooper Flag, like there's conspiracy theories. There's conspiracy theories out there, and it's centered right around what's going on with this Lakers situation in the Dallas Mavericks. So that was wild to me too. I still can't get over how they got him for basically, you could have got a hell if the Mavericks were concerned about creating culture, and then they go and get Anthony Davis. What kind of culture does that do? He brought his culture because everybody got hurt as soon as he stepped on the floor. As soon as he get in the locker room, everybody gets hurt. So that's Anthony Davis's culture, I guess. It's just wild to me. It's wild to me how that all went down. And there was a brief moment, Mike, where I was like, God, am I losing is this going to kill my fandom of the great sport I love of basketball and the NBA? I hope it doesn't, because this looks fishy. It looks fishy and yucky.
By the way, if you're Dalton Connect, how awkward is that locker room and that trade goes down, and then the trade gets rescinded, and then you're just like, I'm back.
I wish that trade held up, because I don't want him to play on that team. I love Dalton Connect. He's a Rocky Mountain hero. He's a prince. He's Rocky Mountain Prince is what I call him. He's just, that dude's a baller, and he can straight flat out lace it. And to see him on the late, and he's done. He's not going to get any room, especially if they play that way. Like, he didn't even get a sniff off the bench, and he's not going to get a sniff off the bench if they're doing what they're doing. So I would have loved for him to stay over there. I wanted to see them get that other dude that didn't even pass I can't remember his name right now,
Mark
but it's
Williams.
irrelevant. Yeah, Williams. I would love for him to be here to see all that screw show up. So the Lakers, quote unquote, dodged a bullet there, but poor Dalton Connect, DK, get him the hell out of, like, I hope somebody goes and gets him. I hope they trade him, but get him the hell out of LA already. Get him out of there.
It is funny and ironic that the Lakers' first game after the break was against Charlotte, and Charlotte beat them, and Mark Williams had a really good game. So that was kind of ironic and funny. By the way, how good of a transition for PK Subban, from player to I guess.
Oh yeah,
absolutely fantastic. By the way, if you hear his hockey analysis, it is top notch. So I guess that's the one good thing ESPN's done the last couple of years is hire PK Subban to be a hockey analyst. So good.
Oh, he's tremendous, and he's got the right amount of the accent. You know, the hockey guy. He's got a right amount of it where it's not too overpowering, but he's got passion, and it's fit too. I don't know how much you watched him. but he's got a nice wardrobe.
I mean, his scarf drawer is just is top notch.
Yep.
All right, let's finish it off here. Spring, Matt. We're almost in spring, and a couple of spring training games have already gone down, which means baseball season is here. About 20-something days until the regular season, and it's here, Matt. I'm not going to any local Rockies games unless the tickets are free 99, and that's FREE 99.
Yep.
And I'm trying to go to San Diego this year to catch a Rockies game. Trying to go to Boston this year to catch a Rockies game, but the Rockies themselves are not getting a cent out of me this year. They're lucky I'm just wearing a hat that I purchased like maybe 10 years ago. I'm only wearing it to signify the start of spring training. So, but what are you looking? Is there anything you're looking forward to this season? The Rockies have I don't know who they were ranked by, but there's 3 teams that were ranked a 0.00% chance of making the postseason, and that is the Miami Marlins, the Chicago White Sox, and the Colorado Rockies. So 2 teams that I follow. I will have nothing to do in October apparently, and so. What are you most looking forward to? Any storylines or just baseball? I mean, baseball brings sunshine, Matt. That's what I'm most looking forward
to. I enjoy watching, coming home, turning on the TV, catching an afternoon baseball game, and just turning on the radio, catching a Rockies game or a baseball game. Hopefully it was a Rockies game. That's what I love to do. I just don't know how I'm going to do it this year, Mike. I'm like you, I love the game of baseball. It's my favorite game. It's the game that I enjoyed to play the most as a kid. And it's so much fun. But when you don't have a hometown team to root for, even though I know Bud Black came out and said that this bullpen is probably one of the best he's ever had. And it's going to be right up. It's going to be right up there with the best in the MLB. And and I want to sit back here and I want to hope and be like, you know what, maybe the Rockies come out and they shock everybody and they're a wild card team. Maybe they come out and this bullpen is good. Maybe this rotation's good. Maybe this lineup is going to produce runs and fun baseball. Maybe defensively they're the best all around the team in the infield that we've seen. Maybe. But Mike, what if that does happen? What are we going to hold on to? What can we look forward to? Because next year they're just going to piss on it, dump it, and try to trade everybody because we can't have a winning franchise here for some reason. They don't win. Or if I'm rooting for that and I get excited and here we come down to June and the Rockies are, I don't know, 8 games out of a wild card spot or 10 games, like right around in there. They're sniffing around it. Can I get excited? Is it okay for me to be like, oh man, this team might go, but no, we can't have anything nice because they trade somebody or they send somebody down, or here comes Chris Bryant to I almost pooped all over the parade. You know what I mean? Like I don't know what to do. So I just thought I told myself, and I'm going to go with the flow, Mike. I'm going to try to go with the flow this year. I'm going to have an optimistic look on this baseball team because my other team, the Braves, I have no emotional connection. I'm not in touch with that. I don't know what the hell's going on over there, so I can't really root for them. I'm not going to jump on a bandwagon. So I'm just going to sit back and go with the flow and hope that we can watch some competitive baseball. Hope I can get out listening to it on the radio, sitting in my garage, hitting golf balls in my net, drinking a brewski, smoking a cigar, whatever I used to do. I'm going to try to enjoy that, Mike. And like I said, if I can find some of those free 99 tickets, I'm going to take my kids to the games, go sit in the free section, whatever it may be. I'm going to try to do that, but I'm going to try to have an optimistic approach, and I'm going to try to be a good fan, but it's going to be tough. I know they're going to do some stuff. They're going to say some things. Chris Bryant, I'm going to see him out there and just get, I don't know why me just seeing Chris Bryant out there pisses me off. Does it do the same thing to you?
Yeah. And you know what kind of season they need to have? They need to have this kind of season.
Get about the curveball, Ricky. Give him a heater. Get about the curveball, Ricky. Give him a heater.
They need to go out there and be like, hey, they're threatening to move our team to, well, Vegas is already taken, but Oakland. They're going to be the next team in Oakland.
The
And
Oakland Rockies.
they're gonna, and then they gotta play to, to win the pennant, so they don't get moved because the attendance is gonna be there anyway, Matt. Like,
Yeah,
which is shameful. I'm proud to say, Matt, I haven't gone to a Rockies game in 2+ years now. So my personal boycott is working, and again, unless somebody hands me tickets, I win tickets, or I find just tickets laying in the gutter because of some other fan like me who's just like, F this. And so like that. But I will go see them on the road. So hopefully getting 2-3 more stadiums knocked out this season, Matt. So I will go support them on the road, but that opposing team is getting my money. I don't know how much cut the Rockies get when you buy opposing teams tickets, but
I wonder, yeah.
I try not to think about it because that pisses me off too. So, but yeah, going back to Chris Bryant, seeing him pisses me off. It's going to be kind of weird. Is it going to be weird for you without Charlie Blackmon in the lineup? He's in the front office now. It's speaking of
because
beer,
speaking
of beer,
I'm happy.
He's going to be in the suite now.
Yeah, I'm happy about that. He doesn't deserve this. Like he's where he needs to be. I don't want to see him play for in another jersey, but he doesn't deserve to be on this team. Not that he doesn't deserve that he's not good enough, but he doesn't deserve to go through the BS that he could potentially go through. Go sit in the suite, do it from there. But you're too good of a player, too good of a person to go through the BS on the field that this team could probably get you.
And hopefully he gets to like whisper, and I don't even know who the GM is anymore. But hopefully he gets a little whisper in the GM's ear, say, "Hey, let's make this move. Let's make that move. I've been on the field with these turds for the last."
I would love
years.
that.
Yeah,
I would love that.
Let's just eat it. Cut Chris Bryant. Like, I don't know what you do at this point. Way too early predictions though. Looking down in the September, October memory banks here, Matt. Looking forward. Is this just another Dodgers? We both know we're all sick of LA teams, but obviously the Dodgers have the deepest pockets, and they got better in the offseason. What are the Yankees and Mets going to look like? Juan Soto literally hit a home run in his first at bat as a New York Met. So what are you looking for there? Is it inevitable that Thanos, aka the Dodgers, are just going to add another ring to the gauntlet and be in the World Series?
Yeah. I mean, if you got more money, you have the most money, you're going to win. I feel like that's how baseball's always been for the most part, unless you got Billy Bean, having getting other getting other GMs to pay for your soda. It's like the richest team's going to win. And that's my biggest problem with the MLB. And it's why it's tough for me to even get with an ML. Is because who's going to beat that team? It they're just so freaking loaded. And then you got the Yankees, you just throw all these, if we're going to look down, like you mentioned, September, October, are we going to see any other teams that are going to pop up? I don't know. I haven't dug enough into it to look at it. I mean, we can root for the Diamondbacks here in the West. It always kind of seem to hang around and do something. You can root for I don't even know where, if you go into it's like Boston, where are they going to be? What are they going to do? The Cardinals, we can't look at the Cardinals as being as a team that's going to maybe make a move or have a good ball club that's going to challenge one of these big money teams. It's the Yankees, it's the Dodgers. That's just the way it's going to be. And until MLB does something like a salary cap or some crap like that, it's just going to that's just how it's going to be.
Well, we all know that the Dodgers and Yankees are like luxury tax be damned. Do you think we give a hoot about?
They don't give a rip
about a luxury tax. Shoot, we'll make that back in the first week of attendance. So,
and they got multiple rich owners. Like it's not just one person. It's just boom, boom, just money. Here you go. And like you said, we're going to make it back. Who cares?
Yeah, it's crazy to think about, but Yeah. Hate to see the, like you mentioned, the Diamondbacks. The Padres. Are they going to make?
Yeah.
Yeah. Are they going to make anything happen this season? Maybe.
I mean, the Guardians were sniffing around a little bit last year.
Yeah. I mean,
Philly,
Star-Lord and Gamora were up there. Yep.
it's you can see these teams pop up. You can hope that they do something, but are they really going to? And then you're going to come down trade deadline, and one of these big money teams, they're going to make some crazy ass trade that just makes them even better. And it's just, I don't know. It's like Billy Bean says, there's the rich teams up here, there's these teams here, and then they go all the way down here. Then there's the rest of the MLB, just crap, and then there's over here. It's like that's how I feel. That's how it is. It's, you want to watch the best baseball team. You want to see if another team's going to put something together to challenge these teams, but it's never going to work because they got more money.
Yeah, exactly. It's crazy. It's crazy. And obviously the Yankees got better. They got Cody Bellinger from the Cubs. They signed Paul Goldschmidt in the offseason. They lose Juan Soto, obviously, to the New York Mets. But so they got a little bit better. They just signed Tyler Matzik, by the way, if you remember, playing for the minor league team here in Colorado. But yeah, I mean, it's just locally, it's gonna be tough, Matt. The Rockies usually win like 20 games in April, and everyone's like, "Oh my God, here they come!" And then May, June comes, and they're all of a sudden 20-70. So it's like, hopefully a switch flips for some of these teams and they get motivated by these big market teams. Like I said, they need to have a major league type season, the movie Major League, where they're just like, hey, let's just shock the world. We got an old catcher with no knees, but he's going to suicide squeeze to win the division. So yeah, they need that kind of spark, and a lot of these teams seem to need that kind of a spark. So yeah, we'll see what happens down the line. I'm going to do
my best to root for the Rockies. I'm going to do my best to root for the hometown team. Like, I'm not going to go to the games. I'm going to do what I do here, but I don't know. I don't know, Mike.
Really quickly, did we get to talk about the Hall of Fame inductees for baseball yet?
I don't even know who they are. I don't remember even seeing that.
Maybe we didn't, but the I just want to get your take on since we're on the baseball topic. Ichiro, CC Sabathia, and Billy Wagner, the 2025 Hall of Fame inductees.
Oh, and wasn't there one voter that didn't vote all out for Ichiro?
One guy.
Yeah, I'd like to meet that freaking guy.
He's probably the
what
same
the hell
guy.
Are you what the hell are you watching, sir?
He's probably the same guy who was like, make that trade, Dallas.
That's it. Yeah, that's another thing about the MLB that drives me crazy is there's way too many old white guys that are in charge of that stuff. Way too many. Way too many
guys who didn't like Kendrick's halftime performance.
Oh my God, yeah. Dude. There's a lot of good memes going about.
Oh, but did you see the Will Ferrell and a guest star
performance? Oh, freaking tremendous. It was tremendous.
Yeah.
That was funny too. I laughed at that.
Yeah, pretty good. Pretty good. And your boy's a finalist for the Basketball Hall of Fame. Did you see that?
Am I the only one that likes Carmelo in this town?
I do.
Am I the only one that defends him?
I do.
You do too, huh? Yeah, that's what I thought. I thought me and you were on that same page.
They need and should retire his jersey.
Yep, I agree. I agree 100%.
If Carmelo wasn't drafted in 2003, Matt, if he was not drafted, this franchise, he brought the Nuggets. He put the Nuggets on the map.
Yep, he did. He brought us. Yep.
Just think, 2 years before maybe the year before he was drafted, Matt, they won 12 games. They literally, the year he was drafted, Matt, they turned everything around and made the playoffs. His first season. And then every season he was on the team, they made the playoffs. Sure, they didn't get to a championship, but it still laid the groundwork for what the Nuggets are today.
That 2009 team would have won the championship if they would have made an inbound pass. That
Oh,
09,
yeah.
it was
I'm
right
still-
there.
Every time I see Anthony
Yep.
Carter, still
Yep.
like you piece of crap. But
And
why is George Karl putting the shortest guy on the court? Because he's the best passer.
I've
That's the
seen
case. Andre Miller should have been in, or Chauncey should have been inbounding.
I've ran into George Karl one time, and I said, "How you doing, Mr. Karl? Thank you very much for the season and everything. But what the hell was Anthony Carter doing, passing the ball in?" And he just looks at me and smiles, and then just thank you, whatever moves. He gets it. I think he gets it.
Yeah. And not only that, Lamar Odom is guarding the inbound pass. Who's like what 6'9" with like a 7'7" wingspan.
That Laker team was not a good Laker team. It was probably Kobe Bryant's worst championship Laker team. That's why I feel like we just, oh God. I mean,
but it did make 2 years ago a little bit sweeter though.
It did 100%. I get it, but yeah, Carmelo,
because then you sweep the Lakers in the Western Conference Finals.
Yeah, Carmelo Anthony is a Hall of Famer, and he deservedly so. Yes.
And that's what's wrong with the Basketball Hall of Fame, Matt, because I don't know why they even make the finalist list, because everyone gets in anyway.
Yeah. I don't induct basketballs too. Like this basketball was used for so long, and we're just going to put it in the Hall of Fame.
I mean, eventually the Caitlin Clark Wilson basketball that just came out is going to be in the Hall of Fame.
Oh yeah, for sure.
If it's not already in there,
it should already be there. It should be. And Angel Reese's unrivaled performance put her in the Hall of Fame. Yeah.
And her McRib at McDonald's should be in the Hall of Fame.
I got her cereal the other day. I could not pour it in the bowl. It kept falling out.
Yep.
Heyo.
Get missing your mouth. Yep.
Get missing. Just give like this. It just bounce off and then fall down, and I'd have to get it and put it back up. And
By the way, is that the worst feeling? Like no matter how I eat cereal, like somehow, some way, milk always leaks. Yeah. It comes down the spoon and then leaks all over your. Am I doing something wrong?
No, I do it too. In the summertime, I walk around outside and eat cereal because I know I'm going to make a mess.
Yeah.
No, you're not. You're not alone.
Like I feel it dripping down my chin, and I'm like, "What?" I get mad.
Yeah, me too. Especially if you got a beard. I used to have one. It come down to here, just milk all over my beard, and then I look down, beard in a cereal. It's disgusting.
Yeah,
so
and then like 3 hours later, I'm looking in the mirror, and I got like,
crusty milk.
Yeah, it's gross.
Maybe the Yankees were onto something. Maybe we don't deserve facial hair because we can't even eat correctly.
Maybe that's why they got rid of it in the first place, because they were serving milk.
I'm sick of you guys coming out of the dugout with freaking mustard in your beards. We need to shave. No more beards.
Yeah, I can only imagine what was living in Charlie Blackmon's beard all those years.
Maybe it's like an unidentified species.
Especially being an outdoorsman like he is, like you gotta imagine something's living in that.
Oh, for sure.
Like
for
a
sure.
pet squirrel or a chipmunk. Yeah, it's got to be something like that. But that is going to do it for us here on the Wheelhouse. Thank you for watching, tuning in, however you're consuming us. Once again, go and like and subscribe to all of our socials: Facebook, X, Instagram, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Amazon Music. Also go to our home base, e5280sports.com. All of the on-demand episodes are on there, audio, video, as well as some articles as well. But that is going to do it for us here. Matt, glad to have you back.
Glad to be back.
There you go. The one and only. Here's that. But that's going to do it for us here once again. Thank you for Matt Mascarenas. I'm Michael Spillane. We will talk to you next week.